and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to
Masande's Way.
Yes, if you're new around here, I am Masande and this is Masande's Way, darling. Thank you to all my returning subbies for all your support. Yay! But I don't come alone. I bring you a cutie.
This cutie is here and she is happy to be here. I come back.
She's back, and the videos that we've done in the past have been popping.
Oh yeah,
they've been fire.
I mean, we bring fire, we bring the stuff, we bring sauce. I love it. I love it here.
Yes, the sauce. So she's back on the channel and she's back doing a video that I've been meaning to do with her for a while. So if you want to know what that video is about, stay tuned as we bring you some gospel truth. We bring you some life truths.
Yeah.
We bring you all the good things.
Yes, I'm excited. Let's do it.
Let's get into it. We're all in the pursuit of purpose.
Definitely.
And I think of the people that I know, you are someone that has fully lived that out.
Sure.
So I think you're just the perfect person to have this conversation with. So today's video is on the cost of following purpose.
Sure.
And that will look different to anyone. Yeah. And I want to use the word purpose to make it inclusive. So it's not just like a Christian or a spiritual thing. I think wherever you feel like you are called, wherever you feel like this is your place and your space, then that's purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, so what does purpose mean to you? Let's just start it slow, start it big. What does purpose mean to you?
Wow, purpose. I think, wow, that's a big one actually. Purpose for me is more than just what you do, it's what you believe about yourself and what you believe that you're kind of like called to, like your vocation actually. It's like, it's beyond just, this is what I do, but it's more of this is who I am, this is what I'm called to do, and therefore I'm pursuing that. And almost like coming to the fullness of who I am and what I feel like is my purpose in life. It's what I'm called to do in life and pursuing that and doing that fully well. I think for me, that's kind of like purpose. It's more than just what you do, but it's who you are accompanied with what you do. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you say it's who you are, because our work, so much of our time, so much of what we do here on this earth is work.
It is.
And so for it to just be a job or a vacation, you know, I think it's more than that. It's who you are in, because you bring that to whatever space that you are in.
Yeah.
What has been your greatest joy in living out your purpose?
Oh, I think for me, seeing the fruits of it, seeing the fruits of what I put in, what I do, and seeing that affecting and changing people's lives. Yeah. For me, that has been such a joy. To see lives change because I responded to my purpose, because I'm living out my purpose. And I think we'll unpack that a bit later, but for me, just seeing the fruits of me pursuing what I feel like is my purpose and seeing that affect lives and change people's lives, I think for me that is the greatest joy.
I think that you are someone who's living true to their purpose. Sure. I think that you are very clear as to what you were created to do. And you are living in that. You're living in that. So I think then my next question is, what lessons have you learned as you have stayed true and lived true in purpose?
Sure. Yeah. I think that, I think to answer that, I kind of like want to unpack a little bit of my story, right? And I think for me, I think I discovered more of my purpose when I was in university. I've always had I wasn't really clear about what I wanted to do with my life. But I think when I got to varsity, for me, was when like I was faced with this question, because now it's real life, right? It's you're like, okay, what am I coming to do here? Okay, I'm gonna get my degree, go get a job, and then what? You know? And therefore for me, I faced those questions, those real life questions, like what is the purpose of my life? What am I doing here? You know, what on earth am I doing here? You know?
What on earth am I doing?
Exactly, right? Yeah, like studying, and I studied law and I really enjoyed it, but I was like, I don't feel like this is my field. Like I wouldn't want to practice it. I enjoy it, but I wouldn't practice it. So that for me almost opened me up to be like, to question. And I think that it starts with that really questioning. And for me, like, you know, I'm a Christian and I believe that purpose is found in Christ Jesus, right? And therefore for me, I had to ask God, like, God, what is your purpose? What is the purpose for my life? Why am I here? And then journeying with God and discovering it wasn't like I hear the voice of the Lord saying, this is the way, walk in
That's
it.
good.
Which
That's
the
good
Lord
to
does say for some people.
Yeah.
But in my case, it felt like I had to try out different things and be like, oh, I like this, I enjoy this. And therefore, I began to discover me. I began to discover who Risuna is, what she loves, what she doesn't like, what stays up, what passions she has, what things she's like, oh, I'm not sure about that. And that actually helped me. As I discovered myself, I feel like my purpose was opening up to me.
Yeah.
So as I journeyed in life and tried out different things, I feel like that's when I began to see, oh, I actually love working with young people. I love campus ministry. I love seeing young men, women being raised up as leaders. I love raising up the next generational leaders.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'll put my energy, my effort, and I'll sacrifice to seeing this happen. Why? Because it's my purpose.
Yep.
It's something I'm passionate about. It's something that I wake up thinking about. It's something I go to bed thinking about and praying about, because I'm like, this is it. I'm called to this,
Yeah.
And therefore, that thing for me is like a passion that burns inside of me, and I'm excited and passionate about it. But it didn't start with like I had a dream.
Yeah.
Unlike Joseph, I mean, looking in the Bible, Joseph had a dream and a whole lot of stuff happened, and eventually he saw the fulfillment of that. But it's a journey. It's a journey of discovering you, and then in that opening yourself up to trying out new things and experimenting while allowing Jesus to lead you and direct you and opening you up to different ways of life and doing things. And you find yourself discovering, hey, actually, I love this, or actually, that is definitely not for me. And that's good, rather know and and do what you're passionate about. I believe that we're supposed to wake up and be excited about life and like our call, our purpose, not wake up and be like, oh, here goes another day, but like, oh my gosh, I'm here, I'm alive, and I can do this and can fulfill my purpose.
But also, if you are in that space where you are waking up and feeling like this is not for me, this is, which is a space I found myself in a few years ago, where I was,
like,
I was like, nah, this is this is not it. This is not for me. But also, even in that space for me, I felt like because I had understood myself enough to be like, this is not for me, I felt like then it would be easy for me to walk into purpose, and that wasn't the reality. I think that it's also sobering to know that just because you realize that this is not for me, this is not my purpose, this is not where I need to be, where God has, has called me to be, it doesn't mean that stepping out of that it's going to be easy and you're just going to walk into purpose and walk into open doors and all these things, it's still a journey. It's still a hard journey to find your purpose and to find your place.
I love that, friend, because I think that we change, right? We evolve, we grow, we grow out of things, we grow into new things, and as we grow up, like some things change, some things remain the same, the core stuff remains the same. But we as people, we change. We learn new things. We discover new things, and therefore it makes sense for sometimes to find ourselves in a space where like you're wrestling, because we almost sometimes want to fall back to the old and what we know while you are changing.
I've had that temptation of wanting to fall back to the old.
And be like, let me just go to what is easy. Let me just fall back to what I know. But like when you're being pushed to come out of that, it's hard. It's painful. It's something that we need to be aware of, that in life we do change, and some things do change, like you might be single one day. We have changed, single one day, married the next day with children.
Definitely not us in our 30s.
Listen, we might have cute faces, but we is old, okay? I'm just joking, we're not that old.
Okay, so I think for you are definitely a mentor. You are definitely a discipler. So as a mentor, as someone who has played such an intricate role in the lives of many people, what do you think is people's greatest struggle with purpose?
People's greatest struggle, I think, with purpose is number one, discovering it. I think discovering who you are, discovering your identity, discovering why you are on this planet Earth. I think that is the first thing, discovering what purpose is and what it looks like for you, and then living it out. And living it out will there'll be consequences of it, because there are choices that you have to make in order to fully live out your purpose, and there'll be sacrifices that will need to be made in order to fulfill your purpose. So everyone's story is going to be different, but if you have if you know this is who I am and this is what my purpose is, then you're going to run with it and pursue it, and that will come at many costs. And it will affect the people around you, it'll affect you personally, because it shapes you to become the purposeful person that you're meant to be, you know. But it's I think the struggle is for people discovering it, and also then making the sacrifices to actually living it out on a day-to-day basis, because you have to say no to some things that other people are saying yes to.
Because I think for me, one of the things that I felt like I was struggling with purpose is this idea that there's just one thing, that my whole life is to figure out this one thing, this one thing that I want to live for and live towards, you know.
I think and I love that, because it's definitely there's a almost like a central thing of life. For example, for me, I believe that my purpose is really living out who I am, and in light of who Christ is, because he's the center of my life, and then letting my life flow out into all of that. For me, I believe that I'm called to disciple people, to disciple nations, really. And therefore that for me will steer me in the way I interact with people, interact with my surroundings, because I want to live out that purpose. And it will look different in different seasons, you know. Therefore, it's not the one thing. Like, if I'm not doing this, oh my gosh, it's over for me. But it's like you have almost like a theme, and then it flows into different spheres of your life. Because you're not just like you're not in a box. We're not in a box, and we should never box ourselves. We should allow ourselves to flourish, to influence in different spaces. So I think people do struggle with that. I have to find the one thing, and if I don't have this one thing, like, oh my gosh, my life is exactly right. But actually, no, it's like knowing what the core of it is and letting it like manifest in different ways and pouring out in different ways, I think.
I think that one of the things I've learned as I've been pursuing purpose is that it looks different in every season. And sometimes
that's good.
And sometimes where I find myself, that is purpose. Because I, for example, never wanted to be a teacher. Right? There was never anything in me that wanted to be a teacher.
You did it for a couple of years.
I did it for 6 years. And in those 6 years, I truly felt like I was living on purpose. Because that's the space I found myself in. That is the season I prayed for. The season I prayed for. And so just because I wasn't doing vocationally what I felt like I was called to do, even in that space, I still felt like this is me living out purpose.
That's
you know, and so it's definitely looked different in
different seasons.
In every season. All right, so it's all well and great to talk about purpose and the fulfillment of living in purpose, but it comes at a cost. You know, following purpose can come at a cost, and I think for both of us, it has come at a cost.
Definitely.
So I don't know how deep you want to go. You don't have to go all the way deep. But I think it's just giving maybe just a few things of what it has cost you to live as you do.
Purpose for life. Sure. Okay, cool. I think for me, I'll go mild. Because it's like we're having fun. But anyway, but it's real life stuff. I think for me, cost. The cost of living a purposeful life for me has been like I've been in Grahamstown for like since 2005. That was my first year, actually.
Do the math.
Do the maths. It's been a very long time. But being there, studied first and then got my degrees and then went into full-time
degree.
Went into full-time campus ministry. Went straight from like studying, into ministry. And I absolutely loved it, but it came at a big cost. A cost that I look back and like, yo, God, that was deep. That was definitely you holding me down and holding me together, because it was a very hard one for me, because after studying, your family expects you to go get a job, be great, but then you're like, I feel the call to ministry. It's not the most popular, exciting thing.
And even if your parents are Christians.
Even if they're Christian. And my parents are like, they're absolutely incredible, loving people. Now we've come a long way where now they're more supportive, but like then it was very hard, and I knew it was going to be a difficult decision that I needed to make for myself. But I knew that for me to live out my purpose, I needed to be here. And I mean, living in a small town, like literally like Donkeyville, like, you know, literally, but like full of like just passion for students and young people, and see anyway, but like the cost of it really was that, you know, of knowing that it's gonna cause a strain in my relationships with my family, with people I love, that are dear to my heart. And that really it came at a cost, and it really hurt for many years. It was a very painful journey of feeling not accepted for what I chose to do in life, and feeling like, you know, I needed to stand up for myself and fight for myself and fight for my purpose. And that's the other thing, of course, you will have to fight for your purpose. You're going to have to fight for the things that make you come alive, the things that God has spoken to you. Because not everyone will understand the vision and get it, you know, but when you want to understand it, but like for you, if you have it burning in you, you need to pursue that thing. And for me, that's why it's been fulfilling, because I'm like, I know I'm doing what I need to be doing, and I'm where I'm supposed to be. So for me, like, I mean, even being in a small town where all your friends have left, like, I mean, she went to Korea and then, you know, eventually to Cape Town and all of that stuff. But like all your friends leaving and literally having to start new friendship, new friends in a small town where there's young people, and just like young people keep coming in, and you're just getting older and older. You stay, you know, and this is why I think we still look quite fresh and young, because we're around young people. Yes, but the sacrifice really has just been for me, just knowing that relationships were very strained. It was a very painful time, a very lonely time, journeying together, and also the other cost of knowing that not everyone is going to understand or accept your purpose. The strain of just, you know, not being in a big, you know, lively city with many people, but like being in a place where you feel like, sure, I'm here, and I can live it out here. As much as I loved my time, you know, in Grahamstown, and it's been incredible, it's been really great. But I know there were limitations. Yes, come at a cost, you know. But yeah, so those are some of my costs. Really, is the benefit, the greatest of them all, is peace. It's peace, knowing you're walking in your purpose. I wouldn't trade that for the world.
It's crazy, because you feel like you've been called by God, and you've had this clear, you know, message, this clear voice of God that this is what you should be doing. But the world is not always going to be for that. You know, the world is not always going to come together and work and be like, yay! You know, and I think especially as young Black women, you know, who have parents that have, you know, worked so hard to give us a certain kind of life, and then you come back to them and you're like, by the way,
I'm gonna switch it up
that
a bit.
big corporate job in Joburg,
it's not happening.
Not for me. You know, it can be hard, you know.
It can be hard.
So but at the end of it, like you said, you know, nothing can compare to the peace that comes with knowing that as much as I may be disappointing people around me, people had expectations for me, the peace that comes in knowing that I am living fully in what God has called me to live.
Definitely.
You know, that's you can't trade that for the world. And you know, for some people don't come around, but thankfully, you know,
with me, like, I mean,
people have come around.
People have come around and
have
embraced that, and it's been a long journey. But like, I'm so thankful that eventually somehow it drops. You know, to be like, okay, maybe this is what she's called to be, because she's actually being fulfilled. She's actually enjoying life. She's okay, you know. And I think some people,
and she's doing well.
You know. And I think sometimes that's all people want to know. Like, are you gonna be okay? And you're like, I'm actually gonna be fine. God is gonna sustain me, and He's been doing that. So I think, there's a cost, but it really is fulfilling, walking in your dreams, in the passions that God has put inside of you, and seeing other people's lives change. For me, that is one of the other biggest things. Because you said yes to purpose. That's it.
All right, and that brings us to the end of our video. I hope that you have gotten some nuggets, some good takeaways. Yes. And I've loved having this conversation with you.
It's been great having this conversation with you too. It just reminds me again of saying yes and yes and yes to your purpose. Do it. Like, don't hold back. Go for it. Go forth and flourish in love. Do it.
Flourishani, guys. Flourishani.
Indeed.
But from me, Masande, and
Risuna.
Until next time, it's blessings, you guys. Bye.
Okay, sorry, blessings. And me, Risuna.
Until next time, it's blessings.